Welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. Hope you're all okay out there. It's Thursday, it's Jess Rose Thursday. How are we all? I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. for a live. Tuesdays are my request night. So if you've got any requests, let me know. Drop them in the comments. You can join me on my Patreon at patreon.com/JessRose5472. Or just join us on the lives. Like I say, Tuesdays are request night, but Thursdays are my night, the ones that I've found. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't, but hopefully you haven't. Hopefully I can add something new to it. So it is live. I'm just going to wait for a few people to join. And yeah, well, hopefully, she says, hopefully someone will join. That's what the plan is. And if you are watching tomorrow, where are you? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you here? Hey, sis, how's it going? Hey, Phil, how are you? It's Jess Rose Thursday. Woo, woo, woo. I don't know what that was. That was my woo, woo, woo. Oh, yeah, no, that was terrible. That was terrible. But how are we all? Hey, Warwick. What? Look at you. Do you not even say hello to me first anymore? Do I not even get a hello first anymore? See, saying hello to the moderator, the baby Jesus herself. But what about me? What about me? Do I not get a hello anymore? Just terrible. Thanks, thank you. That's okay. That's all right. All right, I'll let you off. I'll let you off now. I can't tell. Is that like my head's not in the frame? Bear with me. I'm sorry. It's all going to go horribly wrong now, I feel, but bear with me. I did this the other night. I panic when I'm late, and then, I've got to get myself a new setup. How are we? There we go. Hey, Phil. Oh, I thought, was you not saying hello to me earlier either? Was it just to Tiff? Say, what's going on? Oh, thank you. It's not just a top, it's a whole set. Do you want to see? Would you like to see? I don't know if you can tell properly, but it's a whole set. Look, it's a whole set. Fabulous, isn't it? Fabulous. Can't tell on there, but it's lovely. I have it in black and cream too. Because this is what I do. I wait for the summer. I get myself clothes, and then I have to wear them all at once. So you're going to see quite a lot of them while there's a bit of sun out. But how are we? Warwick nearly threw me off earlier because all I could think about was him on about Fiddler's Creek and Bushman's. Is it Bushman's Hole? That story I did. Bushman's Hole. It was the diving story, wasn't it? So yes, I'm going to be thinking of that as the story goes on. I really hope I'm not. Hope I'm not thinking of that one. But yeah, does anyone know this one? Oh my God, it's just horrific. Do we know this one? Oh God, I'd heard of it, but vaguely. I didn't really know too much about it, just very, very vague. And then when I looked into it, it was like, oh my God, this is awful, but I've got to share it with you. This was the one I was on about on Tuesday night. Do you not know this one? Yeah. Is it just us? Is it just us for this evening? We can start very soon. Do you know what I had earlier though, before we start? I had a message from YouTube earlier. It was really random, telling me that my description. Oh, thanks, Natalie. I was just showing Tiff. I've got to flash you again. It's a set. It's shorts and a top. Look, it looks a bit odd on camera, doesn't it? But that's it. It looked a bit odd. Do you know what? I rewatched my video back the other day when I was getting, when I was getting up to let Mitzi out. Needless to say, she's upstairs. She won't be disturbing us this evening. But I realised I kept on, as I was standing up, you were all just getting like bum on camera. I was like, "Oh my god, is that what I was doing?" And no one told me. It was like, "Oh god." And the shorts I had on didn't even have pockets to try and make it look any better. So, yeah, I was mortified the other night, actually, when rewatching it back. I was like, "Oh, for God's sake, Jessica." Um, but yeah, YouTube messaged me, um, saying that I hadn't done a description right or something on a story I'd done between the 14th and the 16th of May. But I did 2 that week. So it's like, but my descriptions are always very basic. I don't do what a lot of people do, and there are loads in there. I don't do it. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. But I just basically put across it's my opinion on that crime. So I don't know what I've done wrong, to be honest, on that. I don't know why I've had that message, but I've never had anything direct from YouTube before. I don't know whether to be happy about it or not. I feel like I've got been told off, and I don't know what I did wrong. So yeah, I need to look into that after. Need to look into that after. But yeah, but have we got any plans the weekend? I know Natalie's you're away, aren't you? You're going away. And Kelly, I haven't Kelly messaged today on the story I've done the other day. But I don't know if she's joining us this evening. And I'm not too sure about Sharon. I don't know about Sophie. I'm sure Mum will pop in at some point. PJ says he might. But yeah, have we anyone else got any plans the weekend? Anything exciting going on? We're just going to enjoy the weather. I'm just really hoping to have a garden weekend and to top up my tan. Look at my tan. Look. I was out today as well. Do I look brown? Do I look like a bronzed goddess? Okay. All right. It's darker off camera. It honestly is. Look, show you again. Look pale. Look at the tan. You can see it. Look, it's not dirt. It's a tan. Yeah. Check me out. Check me out. Right. Okay. Well, let's start. So, Warwick and Phil, are we okay tonight? Before I begin, before I start, are we okay? Because I can't. I want the boys to be all good, but I believe you are. Do I look tanned? Do I? I know my face doesn't, but look, my arm does. Look, my arm does next to my face. But I've got to stop. I've got to stop. People will be watching this halfway through, and they're going to be like, "Oh my god, get a grip." So let's begin. So no one's heard of this one. Is that what I'm getting? No one knows this one because um I know we always say we don't need trigger warnings, and we don't. Has family over, I'm dead. Oh, okay. Okay, that's exciting. Okay, that's good. I'm good. I'm glad we're all playing nicely. Or you'll have to tell me what Haley's up to. Um, and yes, I know, like I say, I know we said we're not doing trigger warnings and everything else. It's a over 18 channel. Well, is it an over 18 channel? I'll say it's not made for kids. So I'm assuming it is. But it's very brutal. It's really brutal. This one is. It's not my worst story. I'm not gonna go that far. But yeah, when I was getting this one ready, it was like, oh, I'm gonna just my whole body's gonna go like this as I'm telling the story. But this is what we're here for. This is what we're gonna do. I still feel I'm too on. Look, oh god, it's gonna drop now. I just feel like I'm too low. Hey, there's a trigger warning for Warwick. He loves a trigger warning. He's gonna tell us all we're all grown-ups. We're all grown-ups. I know, but we have to do. I have to give something just in case someone comes in halfway through and they're like, "What the hell have I just tuned into?" So, okay. So as I've started it, changed the title slightly to what I sent out earlier on. So I've changed it to "They all just watched the brutal Richmond high school rape." Gives it away. gives it away there, doesn't it? Completely. So if you're watching tomorrow, we're going to begin now. Say it every time. I don't know how you would know, but there we go. Okay, the problem with this, not the problem, I'll take that back. The thing with this story, the victim in the story, um, I can't give you her name. It's withheld completely. So I can give you her age. I can give you the fact that her name is down as Jane Doe. The fact that the clue is in the title. It is. It's there. But yeah, I can't give you a name. I can give you her age. She was 16 at the time. And that's about it. That's about it. That's all I can really give you with regards to any backstory on this girl as such. And you're going to see why in a minute, why everything's been kept quite quiet. So we're going back to October 2009 to tell this story. And the story is basically going to be over the period of one night, just one night. That's what I'm going to give you. It's in Richmond, San Francisco Bay, California. So an American story. Now, Jane, remember, we're calling her Jane Doe. So it's not her actual name, but that's what the courts have given her. So that's what we're going to call her. So Jane, on this date, it's the 24th of October 2009, and it's the day of her homecoming dance. You know, they have these, their proms and homecoming and all these sort of dances over there. Well, this particular one is for the sophomores. Now, if I've got it right, in their high schools, they consist of freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I believe that's how it works over there in their high schools. And she's a sophomore in high school. So I believe that age range is 15/16, and she's 16 at this point. Now, Jane herself she's tiny. She's a tiny, tiny little thing. At this point, she's about 6.5 stone. You'll see why I'm saying that in a minute. She's very excited for this homecoming dance. She's been planning her outfit and her dress and everything for the longest time. She's very, very excited about it. She's bought like a lavender kind of dress to wear with like sparkles and stuff. She's wearing like a pearl necklace. Her dad apparently bought her the dress, and the unfortunate part about this is just before she was getting ready to go to this homecoming dance, she was made aware that her parents were going to be divorced. They were going to be divorcing. And 16, that's such an awkward age as a teenager anyway. Your emotions are going crazy at the best of times. So it's a very upsetting time for her around that time period. So she was... I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I knew... Do you know, I was prepared as well. I was prepared. I can do it. I can do it. Right. Okay. So she was so excited. She was so excited for her homecoming dance. Okay. And she, I can do it. Bar being really upset about her. I'm so sorry. If you're watching tomorrow, okay, just go into the comments, the live comments, go in. You possibly see my reaction. But I can do it. Oh, I'll get you at the end. Warwick. Okay, so she's heard about her parents divorcing. She's all dressed up for this homecoming dance. I've said the date already, but it's the 24th of October 2009. Um, like I say, she's all dressed up in her beautiful clothes, and her dad is taking her to a homecoming dance. Okay. And he drops her off outside her school, which is Richmond High School. He drops her off outside where the dance is being held at about 6 p.m. And he says to her, "Look, I'll come and pick you up at about 11. But obviously, if you want to come home, ring me. But, I'll come and get you about 6." Now, what it was is Jane had a bit of a headache. She had a bit of a headache even going into her dance. But she persevered. She was really excited. She goes in with all her friends, and she's having a great time. But you know what it's like with the lights and strobe lights. Now, personally, I hate the things. I hate them. Always have done. You've got people who look like they're doing this and going at, judging for. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. And apparently it was the strobe lights that were making a headache worse. Remember, I said she's gone in with this headache. So about 9 o'clock, she about 9 o'clock, she comes outside, and she's coming out for a bit of air, but she thinks, you know what, I'm gonna go home. And it's not just the headache; she's got church the next day. And this is what I'm saying about this girl. She's a really good girl. She's a really good girl. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. She goes to church. She's a real family girl. I think that's why the divorce has hit her so hard. Apparently, she's a very, very sweet girl. And so at 9 o'clock, she stood outside and she's thinking, I'm going to phone my dad and get him to come and pick me up. So that was her plan. As she stood outside, now she's on her own outside. She left her friends in to carry on enjoying themselves. A lad called Cody Smith walks past. Now, Cody's 15, but him and Jane have known each other since middle school. And I've worked out the age range of middle school over there, and I think it would work out they've known each other since about 11. So, 4 or 5 years they've known each other. And he happens to be walking by as she stood outside the front, and she hasn't phoned her dad just yet. And he says, he's chatting to her. They know each other. And he says, I'll tell you what, why don't you come round the corner and chat to me and my pals? And basically on the school grounds, this is, but there's like, it's called a courtyard. It's round the back though. It's quite a dark area. It's got some picnic tables, they call them, but they reminded me when I saw the pictures of them of like a pub beer garden tables. You've got the 2 seats either side, and then the table, and then the bit underneath. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. And this is round the back of the school. And what tends to happen behind there, I'm presuming there's access to it when the school's not open, maybe, because it said it's an area that lads and girls do frequent quite a lot, to have a drink, smoke a bit and all that sort of stuff. So she knew the area. It wasn't somewhere she used to go, but she knew where he was on about. So she goes, all right then, come on then. So she walks round with him. Like I say, they've known each other since they were 11. She wasn't concerned in any way. She got on with him very well. He appeared to get on with her very well. So she walked round. Now, when she gets round there, there's like a dark kind of area where there's some lads, he says, come and see my friends. There's some lads sat at one of these tables, picnic tables, beer garden tables, if you can imagine what they're like. And Cody introduces her to his friends. Now, there were 6 lads there. including Cody. Okay, now Cody's 15, don't forget. There's a lad by the name of Jose Matano, who's 18. There's another lad called Salvador Rodriguez, sorry, who's 21. So remember what I was saying, there's got to be access to this area. These kids weren't in high school anymore, so there's got to be access around there where you're not passing the school. That's all I can think of, even though it's on the school grounds. Although American high schools are huge, aren't they? So there's Cody, Jose, Salvador, and 3 other lads. So she's not concerned or anything else. And when she walks around, one of them even puts his jacket down because the bench is a little bit dirty. So he puts his jacket down so she can sit down beside them. And they're actually drinking. They're drinking brandy, like a bottle of brandy that apparently Cody had stolen earlier. So even though she's a good girl and she gets on with him, it's kind of showed he weren't, he's obviously a little bit of well, he's a thief, to say that, at the least. So she's never drank before. Jane hasn't. It's never interested her. But given what had been happening with her parents, given the fact she's surrounded by these 6 lads / men, it was said it could have been maybe peer pressure, maybe just thinking, oh, sod it, because of what was going on in her life. But she takes a couple of drinks of the brandy too. Now, brandy, on par with whiskey, is something I can't touch. I can't stand the smell. I don't drink dark liquor. I can't drink it. It's awful stuff. But and this was her first drink, so you can imagine it's going to hit her quite hard. And that was the reason I mentioned her weight earlier. She's tiny, she's a tiny girl, so you can imagine strong alcohol like that's going to hit her quite hard and quite quickly. So she's obviously, like I say, she's still quite emotional over her parents, but she's still got this headache that she's had from earlier on. Now, in my mind, I can imagine this is turning into a migraine now, because if you've had it all day, the strobe lights from the disco itself, you've come out, now you're drinking brandy. It's really going to affect it, really going to make it 10 times worse. So, like I say, the drink hits her quite fast. She's only there for a short amount of time. She's not there long with them at all. But her head's really hurting, so she decides she's going to get up and go. Okay? Seems quite innocent. She's had a couple of swigs of this brandy. Apparently she drank quite a bit quite quickly off them. But she realises she just doesn't feel well. But she stands up to leave. And as she stands up, she says she remembers just kind of wobbling and being very unsteady on her feet, which you would be. But also she said just this nausea had come over her and she basically starts getting sick. She basically nearly starts getting sick. So, sorry, she does start getting sick. Okay. Now, this, it's just, it's brutal. It's brutal. I'm going to give you one more warning. It's just awful. So, at this point, okay, 2 more lads walk over. A lad called Manuel Ortega, he's 19, and an Alvis Torrentes, who's 22. So they're much older than even Cody and obviously Jane. They're much older, again, who've been around this area. Very strange that this is going on the school grounds. So at this point, there's 8 lads with this girl. Now, really quickly, just off topic slightly, but part of the topic. When I was researching this story, it reminded me of a few years ago. I went to meet a friend. I hadn't seen her in a very long time, and I'd had a very, very bad headache throughout the whole day. And I've gone to meet it's a girl at a pub, local pub, and I'd had this headache, and I only had 2 drinks with her. But while I was there, I was mortified, and Tiffany vaguely might remember because I came home straight afterwards. It was like this migraine kicked in from nowhere, and I had to run to the toilet, and I was sick. Was genuinely sick. I didn't know where it had come from. I was mortified. I hadn't seen this girl in years, and I had to leave. I had to go home. So I'm thinking it would have been the alcohol, but maybe the migraine at the same time that has caused her to vomit and to become unsteady on her feet and stuff. That was just a sideline there. But from this point in the story, Jane begins to black out. Okay. She remembers someone, she didn't know which one it was, trying to put the brandy into her mouth. Now, let me just remind you, this girl has just been sat with these 6 lads. Okay. She's been chatting. Everything's very innocent. One even cleared the bench for her to sit down. She's had a drink with them. It hasn't been a long time. It's not like she's been sat there hours with them. It's been a very short period of time. She's there. She's feeling sick. She stands up. She wobbles. She begins to vomit. And it starts to become very cloudy at that point for her. All right. Now, seeing this, rather than sitting her back down, getting her some water, getting her some help, she remembers someone trying to put brandy into her mouth even then. Okay. Now, we don't know if it was her brain shutting down, if it was the migraine, if it was the alcohol. We don't know why her brain at that moment decided to basically shut off. But they begin to start touching her, all right, asking her to do stuff with them. That's how it begins. And don't forget, there's 8 of them there at this point, one of them being her friend. It said that she tries to push them away. We know this through witness accounts after the fact, but she tries pushing them away in her very drunken, wobbly, vomiting self. She's trying to push them away. But they pick her up and they carry her to a concrete bench. All right. They then start removing her clothes. She's 16. This is falling, isn't it? I've just noticed that's falling. Sorry, people. Goodness sake, I've got to get a new one of these. I have to. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so she's 16. She's 6.5 stone. She's ill. And they've brought her over to this concrete bench / slab. And they start taking her clothes off. But then they start slapping her. They're actually slapping the girl. Okay. Now, Manuel, remember I said one of the ones that walked up after, so not the original 6, but one of the ones that walked up after. Oh, he's the main instigator at this point, all right? And he decides to rip her underwear off. 16. And they decide that it'd be fun to start, rather than trying to pour the brandy into her mouth, they start pouring it over her vagina. That's what they're going to do. Okay. At this point, while they're doing this, he's hitting her. He's hitting her. I'm so, the story is so, oh, frustrating. Okay, for one, but I know what I was about to say. Okay. Then Manuel, he then tries to make her give him oral sex. Okay. Now, whether it was in her drunken state or, just a fault of flight, we don't know, because her brain blocked this out from the minute she started wobbling. Okay, but she grits her teeth closed. She won't open her mouth. Oh, and this makes him very, very angry. He takes this as ultimate disrespect that she won't open her mouth for him. So he begins punching her in the jaw. I don't know if he thought this would make her open her mouth. I don't know. But the real kicker, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Manuel, okay, a couple of the others maybe. But there was 8 lads. There was 8 of them. But no one's doing anything. No one's helping. They're just watching. Okay. And then more lads decide to turn up. Okay. Because these 2 lads that turn up, they've been told about a drunk white, I'm not even going to do that, a drunk white girl having sex with everyone. You can think about what you want. Okay, we've had these discussions a couple of videos ago, haven't we? I think it was a Charlene Down story. Yeah, but a drunk white girl. Okay. So one of the lads was called Ari Morales. He's 16. And Marcellus Peter, who's 17. Okay, so now we're up to 10 lads. So you think, but as the 2 walk round, Ari and Marcellus, as they walk round, there's not 8 lads there. With them 2 added would have been 10. No. When they walk round, there's about 20 lads there. 20. Okay. Well, they say up to 20 people. Might well have been girls there. Might well have been. But we know there was 10 lads themselves. So they're all watching. They're all laughing. Some of them are recording what's going on with this young girl. Okay. Manuel, oh, he just can't help himself, and he continues to punch and punch and punch this girl over and over again in her face. Look, there was witnesses to say they seen him doing it 10 times in a row at one point. 10 times in a row. Okay. At this point, she begins vomiting. So he kicks her in her face. And even though she's vomiting and he's kicked her in her face, they don't care. And apparently there was a few of them holding her up. Oh, God. Ugh. They were holding her up while she's vomiting. She's in a really bad way. She's in a really, really bad way at this point. The reason they're holding her up is they then drag her. They drag her over to a corner with some bins, just dragging her around the place. And when he drags her over there and drops her onto the floor, he then steps on her face. Just decides to step on her face. And there's all these people watching this. Just watching it. Okay. Ari, who was one of the 2 lads who came later, He walks over, but Manuel tells him to back off. It's okay. I'm going to be quite. I've already warned you. It's quite graphic, but he basically tells him to back off because he's trying to get his dick sucked. Okay, and then he shouts, "Hang on a minute! Actually, let's just pull a train on her." Jose walks over. Jose, if you remember, was one of the original 6 that she met with Cody, who'd been sat there. Now he walks over, okay, and while she's on her back, naked from the waist down, he puts a condom on and he rapes her in front of everybody. And while he's raping her in front of everyone, Manuel, who still can't believe she's not opening her mouth, I don't know if maybe I don't know how it happened, but she just was gritting. And it seems to be frustration from that. But while Jose was raping her, Manuel continues to punch her in her face while that's going on. Jose then stands up, looks around. It's said by witnesses, it's like he realised what had happened. Don't forget, a lot of these have been drinking, and they could have been drinking a while beforehand. So he kind of looks around, dawns on him. There's a lot of people there that weren't in the original group. I don't know why it had just dawned on him. And he rips the condom up, throws it into the bushes and goes, "Oh, it's just, I was only joking. I didn't really." They watched him. They watched him rape her. And he tries to basically blag it and throws the condom away. But not 2 seconds later, he goes back into those bushes that he threw it into to retrieve it, because he knew full well what he'd just done and what would be found. So everyone, like I say, is still just watching. Then Harry, the 16-year-old, again, like I say, one of the ones that walked up, he then decides he wants to join in. Harry does. Again, he had a walkie-talkie. He decides to insert the antenna of the walkie-talkie into her. He then steals a ring off her finger, and then he pisses on her. That's what he does. This lad's 16 years old as well. He's 16 too. And then Manuel, this monster, he then forces his skateboard into her genital area. Then he drags her along the floor by her feet. The girls, she's not fighting. She can't do anything. She's gone. She's not with it at all. And he drags her by her feet along the floor, while others in the group that were around them are slapping her between her legs and on her bum as she's being dragged past them. And a lot of this is still being recorded. They're still recording this going on. Okay. Salvador, who's 21, if you will remember, he was one of the lads, one of Cody's friends that I mentioned earlier. Now, Salvador had another friend that he was 21. Salvador, he had a friend that had turned up. Apparently, he tried to stop them. He even tried to throw his shirt over her just to try and just to cover her in some way, but they just pushed him back. So he basically says to one of them, he says, I'm not having nothing to do with this, and he left. He left. He didn't phone the police, though. He didn't tell anyone. He just left. He could have He said, and when he was asked afterwards, why didn't you just try and get us some help? You'd seen what they were doing, so why didn't you try? I didn't want to be a snitch. This wasn't like the 16-year-old. He's 21-year-old man. I don't want to be a snitch. What? Okay. Then there was a lad walking outside past the school, and he happened to walk past 3 lads that had just come out from the back of the school. And they were heard saying, well, they were shouting kind of in this other lad's direction, but just for anyone who'll listen. If anyone wants to, I'm not going to say the word, but if anyone wants to have sex, let's say, there's a girl behind the school, go and help yourself. So this lad who'd overheard these 3 lads saying it, who were walking away from the area, he tells it, I've heard 2 different things. I've heard it was a brother and a sister, and I've heard it was a lad and he gets in touch with his sister-in-law. But either way, this girl who hadn't been a witness, didn't know anything about it, she heard third hand. So the 3 lads said it in the area of this lad. He tells his sister or sister-in-law. So she's heard it third hand, and it was her who phoned the police. It was her who called 911. And she phones up, and you can hear the call. And she just basically says, look, I've heard there's a girl. I've heard she's a sophomore, which would mean she's, 15, 16. I don't want to go around there. I'm too scared. But can you please send someone round? I think there's something going on. And it was her who phoned the police. And do you want to know how long this had been going on for at this point? Do you want to know how long they'd been humiliating, torturing, raping, beating this girl for? 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours this went on for, with up to 20 people at a time watching, and some of them getting involved. I'd slap here, I'd grope here, I'd grab there. So her dad, remember I said her dad was going to come and get her? At 10:52, Jane's dad is on her way to pick her up, as agreed, and he phones her. Just say, I'm on my way. And when he phones her, as the phone's answered, he says hello, thinking he's going to hear his daughter on the other end of the phone. No, he's a lad on the other end of the phone who proceeds to tell him how good his daughter was. And she was I can't even say it. I can't. I know we're all grown-ups. I can't say it. I can't. He basically says that she's had 5 men, and she was a wonderful FUCK to her dad. And her dad, the phone's put down, and her dad, his blood runs cold. What else would it? Can you imagine? You've just left. You would have felt like you just dropped her off at school. So he hopes against hope it's a prank, a sick prank, but he's hoping it's a prank. And he keeps phoning her phone back, but no one's answering. And as he's getting nearer to the school, he starts seeing the police. There's police around. Now, what had happened is when that girl had phoned the police, they turned up quite quickly. And as they came into the courtyard, they seen there was a group of lads around something. Couldn't tell what it was. And they all just ran. They all just darted in every direction. Cowards, as you can imagine. And this particular policeman who's walked over to where this crowd had been, he doesn't see anything at first. Can see the table, can see that. Couldn't see anything at first. And it's dark by this point. It's nearly 11 o'clock. So he's got his torch. And as he starts putting his torch around, looking to see what they were looking at around this area, what they were surrounding, he looks under the bench, the table, and it had like a so you've got the table and it's held up, isn't it, underneath? And she was bent over the underneath of the table, and just her toes were reaching the floor on one side and her head on the other. And he says that when he seen her and when he could make out what it was, he thought she was dead. Genuinely thought she was dead. The support bar, that's the word I was trying to think of. He says there was just this, she was broken. There was just this broken, tiny little young girl. But when he goes to touch her, just to see what's going on, she moans, and he realizes she's still alive. He can see she's been violently assaulted. He can see, even in the dark, even with just the torch, he can see, because how she'd been left, her skirt, her dress was up about her waist, and he could see how badly damaged this girl had been left. So when the dad pulls up outside the school, do you remember I says he sees all the police and everything else? He jumps out the car and he says, look, I'm here to pick up my daughter. I've had a really weird phone call, you know. And another policeman walks over to him, and he happens to know the dad's name. And he's confused, and he's like, what? And he says, and he has to hear that his daughter's been found. She's been raped, violently raped. And as they're trying to calm him down, because obviously you can imagine his reaction, they wheel her past on a gurney. And it said that she was unrecognisable. The amount of punches and kicks she'd had to her head, her head was so swollen, it was unrecognisable. And he whispers into her ear, he says, I'm here, please be strong. You know, she was, whether she could hear him or not, we don't know. But she was in a really, really, really bad way. So she's airlifted. She'd airlifted to John Muir Medical Centre. And obviously she's taken to the hospital. Mark, oh God, Mark, what's his name again now? Manuel, sorry. Manuel, he's actually arrested at the crime scene. He is. He didn't run. Didn't think he needed to. And he's there basically saying, she wanted it. She wanted it. I was just trying to pimp her out. It was consensual. I'm innocent. The bitch wanted it. That's what he said. Didn't even try and run. Didn't even try and hide it. The bitch wanted it. So Jane was taken in, and the damage was just that bad. She was in a coma. And given the fact, like I say, she was 6.5 stone, which is 93 pounds. Her blood alcohol limit was 0.355 or 555%. I didn't know what that meant, but it says that 0.3 to 0.4 can bring on alcohol poisoning. Anything 0.4 and above, that's it, it's lethal. So the amount of brandy, I don't believe that she drank, because it says she wasn't even sat down that long, but they were pouring it into her mouth. Oh, then they could have killed her. They could have killed her through so many things. She's bruised from head to toe, obviously. They were putting cigarettes out on her back as she was being dragged past. Obviously, her genitals were very badly damaged. Jaw was literally dislocated from the punches she'd received. She was concussed with severe swelling on the brain. But after a couple of days, she does come round. And when she comes round, she doesn't remember a thing. The very last thing she remembers is vomiting as she wobbled, as she stood up. It's like her brain had shut it out, which is a blessing, really. She couldn't talk when she had come round because of her jaw. Like I say, all she remembers is the kind of falling, and then next thing you know, she's waking up in the hospital. But what she said, she was so sore when she woke up. She knew something bad must have happened. She actually says she felt like her insides had been taken out, stabbed, and put back in. That was her description of how she felt when she came round. And she actually said that vaguely, very vaguely, she remembers someone. Do you remember her pearls? She remembers someone trying to get them off her neck. She tried to grab them and she got kicked in her stomach. She said she was stamped on and she let go. They're very, if you can imagine, when it just flashbacks maybe, and this is a flashback she's had. But apart from that, said that she doesn't remember anything else. That was just something that came to her. So Jane herself, when she could go back home, she couldn't because she was made aware that there was at least 20 people that had watched it. How could she live in the same area? So of course, when she was discharged, she didn't go back to her home. She had to move out of the area. Now, with regards to, oh my God, these monsters, I would never say animals. I don't know what to call it. Cretins, I don't know what to call them. But Manuel, as we know, was arrested at the time, seen as ringleader. Even though he tried to give it loads and saying she'd wanted it and it was consensual and everything else, he didn't really fight the charges. He pled guilty. He did to what he'd done. He did. Harry. Now, Harry, Marcel's and Jose, right? Now, Those three, a couple of days later, were round a friend's house, all right? And the friend and those three were there, and they're all talking and stuff, and the friend's listening to them. And this is what they said about it. Iris bragged about pissing on her and using the walkie-talkie antenna on her. Marcel's bragged about finger banging her. Jose bragged about, I'll just say, raping her. And the particular friend who was sat there mortified because they're laughing about it. They found it funny. And within that time frame, they didn't know if she was going to live or die at that point. And they were laughing. They found it really funny. But over the next few days, they were either a few handed themselves in, a few were picked up. So we get to Manuel, like I say, arrested. He was a ringleader. He pled guilty to all charges. He said he only pled guilty to save himself from life imprisonment. And he was given 32 years. Okay. Ari, no, Manuel, don't forget, was 19. Ari was 16 years old. He was the one who bragged about pissing on her. He got 27 years because he pled guilty too. Now, Marcel's and Jose, they thought they were clever. Them two did. They thought they were really clever. They pled not guilty. These idiots did. And because of them, this poor girl had to go to trial. Because if they'd have pled guilty, they could have just been sentenced. But no, they wanted to drag it out a little bit more. Now, don't forget, she can't remember hardly anything, this girl. But in June 2013, she goes to court. She goes to court and just tries to put across what she can. How brave is she? And that's when she explained about how she felt about her insides being taken out, stabbed, and put back in. You know, I don't know what the defense were thinking of, letting them plead not guilty. But anyway, Marcel, who thought he was clever at 17, pleading not guilty, he got 29 years to life. Maybe should have pled guilty, eh? Jose, the one who'd 18, who'd also raped her, who'd pled not guilty like an idiot, he got 33 years to life. He got the most out of all of them. There was, we've also got a lad called Elvis, who was 22. He had actually said that she'd been flirting with him. He'd been one of the original 6. He had been, that Cody had brought up. He was brought in. He got 6 years, but because he gave evidence against the others, they wanted the main 4. So Elvis, who was 22, got 6 years. Anyhow, do you want to know a real kicker? There was another lad. There was 6 in all out of the 20, but there was 6 that actually got convicted. The 4 of them, the 4 main ones, I've told you their sentences. This Elvis got 6 years. Do you want to know the age of a man called John Crane, who had turned up while all this was going on? 42 years of age. That's why I've been mentioning the ages as I've been going on. 42 years of age. This man who'd just stumbled across this rape of this girl, gang rape of this girl. And he thought, oh, okay. 42. And do you want to know what he got? 3 years. He got 3 years. It said that they wanted the 4. He was a witness. Maybe that's why he got the 3 years, but 42 years of age. You would have thought, wouldn't you, someone of that age would have been like, what that? A 42-year-old man. Yeah. But between the 6 of them, there was 134 years in total to life that they all got. You might be wondering about Cody Smith. Cody Smith, remember our friend who'd dragged her all into it? Do you remember? Remember the friend? Well, any charges against him were dismissed to the point where we don't know what he did, what he actually did, her friend. But it was said that he had her phone. The phone was found at his house. Do you remember I says the phone call that was answered when her dad phoned her? Was it him? We don't know. But the phone was found at his house. But charges against him were dismissed. Don't know. Was it because he was 15? I don't know. But they were dismissed. And there was no one else ever identified from the group. That was it. They got the 6. That was it. Out of everyone who was coming and going, watching it, recording it, involved in it, beating her, putting cigarettes out on her, raping her, beating her. Oh, 6 they got. With regards to Jane herself, in 2011, she got a $4 million compensation from the school government group. She was on school grounds, don't forget. She was on school. She should have been safe. There should have been at least someone walking around. There should have been. 4 million she got. The money was obviously, it's used for her ongoing care because she still has severe hip and shoulder pain. She still suffers from memory loss and severe migraines. She still obviously suffers with severe anxiety. She'll never get over it. So you might think, well, 4 million, but it's nothing. It's nothing. It's paid for her medical care. That's it, really. Yeah, that was it. That's the story. Oh my God, what an awful story. And that was, they all just watched the brutal Richmond High School rape. Did warn you it was going to be a brutal one. Oh, but when I heard it, I just had to tell you. I just thought, this poor girl. So, yeah, the money means nothing. The money means nothing. And I agree, Phil. I thought that. And when I first started hearing the charges that the sentences, that they'd started to read out, I thought, oh, okay, well, done. Hopefully the sentences will be more and more severe, especially with the ones who pled not guilty. But the 42-year-old man got 3 years. I do know that they tend to, if they're going after, like they were going after the 4, that the rest can kind of bargain and plea bargain and everything else, but 3 years. And the worst part about it is the 2 of them, Manuel and Ari, who got the 32 years and 27 years. I mean, Ari's 16. So he'll be out, when he's 42? Have I got that right? 16, 26, 36, 36, 42, no, 43. A just awful case. So, yeah, it wasn't, I feel like the death penalty would have been perfectly reasonable in this circumstance. Perfectly reasonable. So, you know, I would have been quite happy with that, to be honest. So I didn't even come away with it thinking, well, at least they'll never get out. They'll never. Like, imagine how she's going to feel when the parole hearings come up and she's, I mean, I don't know how this is going to sound now, but I think it's a blessing that she can't remember. I don't know if that makes me sound a bit odd, but it's a blessing. She, in my view, like, she can't remember like a lot, majority of what happened. So I just hope whoever recorded it, I just hope that it will never comes to light. Just an awful story. So yeah, how are we all after that? It was just awful, wasn't it? It was just horrible. It's one of my harder ones. It's one of the hard. And I've done some awful cases, but awful. I mean, it's just a blessing. All I think is that girl who phoned the police, who wasn't there. She wasn't there. She wasn't part of it. She didn't see it. She wasn't, you know, she didn't witness it and run and phone the police. She knew nothing. She just overheard what had been said. It even says that the hospital said it, the police says it, that had the police not got there when they did, if she'd have been left much longer, I mean a small amount of time, she'd have died. Her body was shutting down. Awful case. How are we all after that? Have I seen there's someone on here called Jessica as well? Hi Jessica, how you doing? How are you? Thank you for joining us. How are we all after that though? Just absolutely brutal, wasn't it? Brutal story. Oh, just oh, thank you, Phil. Thank you. Yeah, there was just parts of it that I just thought I can't say that, and it's ridiculous because I'm just saying it. You know, she lived it, but I'm just like, I can't say that. It's just, it's horrific, awful story. And when I heard about it, I thought, why don't I know more about this story? Why don't I know more about this case? I don't understand. What, because she didn't die? I just don't know why. Maybe it was big at the time. I don't know. It's 2009, so like 15 years ago. And the poor girl's, and he's still only 31 now. It's just awful. I did notice it quieting down a little bit. I did notice it had slowed down a little bit in the chat. I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're still there. But yeah, awful. Oh God, I just feel awful now. Ruined your night. I've ruined your Thursday evening, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry. Did I notice Hayley join? I thought I saw, did Hayley join us as well? I think I saw Hayley. Thank you all for joining that and sticking with me through it all. Oh, thank you. Just awful. Are you there? Did you get that one? Oh, and you nearly so close. I managed to battle it. What was it you said now? What did he say? It's very true, Jessica. It's very, very true. It was. They were just looking after themselves. What did you say now? What was the pearl necklace? The pearl necklace. Oh, so close. And I managed to battle through it. Oh, okay. I'm curious about that. Yeah, you nearly got me worried, but I managed. I think I powered through. I think I did. I can't remember now. I think I did. I think you nearly broke me. I was that close. I need to see these pictures. And Jessica, it's so odd saying Jessica out loud. Yes, you have to be in the comments. They do get a kick out of trying to put me off when I'm right in the middle of a story, right in the middle of the story. So that's what I'm talking about there. Awful. Who wrote that? It does. Yeah, you are right. You are so right. Oh God, I keep wobbling the screen. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop doing that. But yeah, but you didn't break me, Warwick. You didn't. Oh, so Jessica, you have never seen my jingle, have you? It's been such a long time since there's someone who hasn't seen it, who I can freak out when I'm coming up against the and growling at the camera. I have a jingle, Jessica. I have a jingle, and you have to stick around for it. I'm about to do it. It's really not. It's not a jingle. No, don't run, Jessica. You have to stay. You have to stay for the jingle. You've stayed for all of that. You have to stay for the jingle. You must. You must. I insist upon it. So, I'm getting ready for it. I'm preparing myself because I've got someone who hasn't seen it, so I'm very excited. Yes. So, yeah, very quick. Oh, you were all great the other night. Thank you. So, you have been warned. You have been warned. Yous were all great the other night. Thank you so much. And if you fancy playing Comment Tig again tonight, that'd be amazing. I'd love that. And if you can like the comments and stuff like that, that's amazing. It'll do good. I'd really love that. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. Otherwise, come to the lives, come and join us here. Otherwise, you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Finger. Look, comment, subscribe. Look, why, Phil? You just stopped me jingle. Why can't you? Are you going out with your brother? It's okay if you're going out with your brother. I'll let you. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe. What you actually stopped me mid-jingle then. I got good. See, that's my jingle. Fab, isn't it? This is why I have to leave it till the end, because if I did it at the beginning, no one would watch, ever. So that's what I'd ask you to do, is like, comment, and subscribe, please. You Phil? Oh, well, have a fabulous evening on Tuesday. I don't actually know what story I'm doing, but maybe you might catch up the next day if you want to, but you will be missed. Phil's don't. Shh, don't. No, I will carry. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe. Are you doing anything the weekend anyway before I let you all go? Is anyone doing anything fabulous? I've got all hot from my like, comment, and subscribe. Are we doing anything fabulous the weekend? That's okay. That's okay. It stopped me on my roll. I was actually getting. I'm sounding really angry when I'm doing it, and I'm not. It's all getting very aggressive. You was warned, Jess. You was warned. This is what they have to put up with at the end of every story. It's at the end of every one. They have to put up with it. Fingers in the screen. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. So, yeah, but if you would like to comment and subscribe, I really appreciate it. Or, well, comment. And if anyone is watching tomorrow, please like, comment, subscribe. You've got the man flu. Have you? Oh, no. Got the man flu. You're powering through, though, so it's not really the man flu. If you're powering through, it can't really be the man flu. God, I'm sweating. It's really hot. Is everyone else having this nice weather? It's fabulous. I was in my garden today, and I'm going to put the kids' pool out tomorrow, so that's what I'm intending to do. And so I'm going to be all tanned. Phil, when you get back, I'm going to be all tanned. I'm going to be all tanned, I am. So, yeah. Did he passed it on? Bet you're managing to power through, though. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Log and comment. Has Warwick gone? Has Warwick disappeared? I did see him saying goodbye. But thank you all. Thank you, Jessica, for joining us tonight, and Phil and Warwick and my oh, is that me? Is that me, Jess? It's gonna get confusing. And my moderator extraordinaire, and Hayley, Natalie I've seen, and who else have we had? I haven't seen Kelly. Kelly, where are you? If you watch tomorrow, where are you? We miss you. and Sharon I haven't seen tonight. But thank you to everyone who's joined tonight. Look at the state of what's going on here. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all next Tuesday. I'll see you on the new Jazz. Oh, so that's not me. Okay. There's not. What am I the old Jess then? Am I old Jess? I'm old Jess then. Don't know about that. Original Jess. Can I be OG? I'll be OG. I don't particularly like old Jess. I'll be OG. That's what I'll be. But yes, Phil, and we'll see you on Thursday, Phil. But I'll see you all. She's still getting a room service. Yeah, we haven't seen her since, have we? She's enjoyed that room service. I did say thank you. I said thank you to the new Jack. I said thank you to her first. I said thank you to her first. So, see, I'm gonna sack you. I'm gonna sack you as moderator. I actually said thank you first. But yeah, Kelly. Yeah, something going on with Kelly. Maybe she finds herself like a Turkish toy boy or something. She can fill us in when she comes back. She can fill us in on all the gossip. But yes, Phil, we will see you next Thursday. Fingers crossed. Yeah, just comment then. That's what I'm saying. Fingers crossed, see you all on Tuesday. Do you know I never realised that I actually say see you next Tuesday? Does everyone else realise that's what I'm saying? See you next Tuesday. Does anyone else realise that? Do I say that or have I just said that now? I might change that. I can't say I'll see you next Tuesday, can I? Can I? But that is. Anyway, have a fabulous weekend and I'll see you all next week. Bye. Thank you all so much. Bye. Look, current subscribe, guys. Look, current subscribe. Look, current.